What up, though? What's good with it? What up, though? What's going on? Now go around that. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Man, purposely, y'all gotta excuse me. I'm driving headed back towards my way. But I purposely during this time hadn't made no videos about really like all the details and all that stuff. You know what I mean? I didn't in this particular situation didn't fit. Anybody, and I'm not one of the type of people that's really here. Are you here to What's the elephant in the room, man? Go talk to me. What's going on? What's the elephant in the room? Talk to me. What's good? I'm gonna try to look at what you were just saying. Hope this motherfucking light change. Who has more respect, Nip or Snoop? Oh shit! I'm talking about, man. To be honest with you, I hate to. You know what I mean? I hate to even during this particular time. You know what I mean? Looking at how they did, show much love and Nipsey today, with the memorial and everything. I'm super happy for his family. I'm glad to see his mom in that particular video, you know what I mean, and see how much at peace that she's in. I think really just the impact, everything that Nip was actually currently doing, and that's not taking nothing away from like Snoop. Snoop got the football league, Snoop do different things, but I think, and I don't want to be tit for tat like, oh, Nip do more here and there. I don't know. I really don't know. But I don't want to say like you got to wait till the day that Snoop passed to really see how people are going to react, you know what I'm saying? But for this shorter period of time, for us to see this type of impact, different type of way, through his music, through his message, how he carried himself, his mannerisms, how even throughout different situations that his name was involved in. Like I'm seeing different people, unfortunately due to the situation, other videos that was like related to Nipsey that's been like flooding our YouTube timelines. I'm seeing a lot of people going back to older videos that I had done based with Snoop. And I'm just still seeing the respect. I feel like every situation that he was in, how he carried himself, you know what I mean? Just respectable and honorable all the way through and through, you know what I mean? It's really just a fucked up situation. I never would have thought, definitely coming into 2019, that Sunday or anything, that Nip would be the one. But at the same time, it's like, sometimes I guess if your particular death, and people making, people making sure that his death didn't go in vain. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the type of person. It's hard to say, man. Like, that's why I haven't really made no video on this particular situation. Like, I basically been speechless. I sat back, me and another homeboy, D Blake, sat back and did a recording about it, because we was like, man, if we gonna touch on this topic, of course, we want to talk about, real shit, talk about the lost souls in the world, as far as the millions of Eric holders that's in the world, you know what I'm saying, that's lost souls walking around that could potentially take any of us out any day, you know what I'm saying, like making sure that it's some type of message that if people come into the video that they leave out of the video with, you know what I'm saying, but then you don't want to get preachy, at the same time. It's a sad situation, but after seeing like his mom talk, seeing that his impact, some people, man, just simply were put on earth to not be here a long time. Like from the time they was born to the end, it was already written. And I see he tapped into that whole next level of himself, of understanding his purpose in life. And even though, yes, he had tons more that he could do, complete, and contribute, but what he did, I feel like, not knowing no conspiracy theory thing like that, but like when Pac was talking about, oh, he gonna spark that person, and everybody thought it was, for a long time people was talking, oh, like Kanye was the next one, that Pac sparked it. No, hell no. I haven't seen one person come into the game, especially for anybody that's been rocking with Nipsey Hussle for a minute. I'm not one of the type of niggas that's about to like try to get on people's head just because they may have just started listening to his music within the last year or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I like for real, shout out to my cousin OT. Like my cousin OT, he was telling me how he heard about Nipsey Hussle like a year and a half ago when he came home from prison or whatever the case may be. But he didn't hear about him through his music. He heard about Nipsey Hussle through all his philanthropy and all the positive stuff that he was doing. Like he literally didn't even know Nip was a rapper. He was like, it wasn't until he was watching the game and Nipsey was at a Laker game and he seen him at a Laker game, and up on the screen they was talking about how, oh, you know, they put rapper up underneath it. And then he was like, oh, okay, so dude, the rapper then got up on his music. So that just goes to show, like, when you putting in that much work, the main thing, like I see a lot of people saying, it'd be a slap in the face to the whole legacy for people not to take this opportunity and take this situation to figure out, you know, sit down, really look in the mirror and figure out what their true purpose in life is, figure out, you know, what seeds are we gonna drop out here to create a legacy, you know what I mean, to keep that positive momentum and everything going, you know what I mean. It just still to this day, like just logging on to Instagram, coming on YouTube and all that stuff, it just seemed unreal. It seemed unreal to still just to be seeing rest in peace Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean. It seemed unreal. Like all these motherfuckers out here, you know, and it's a ton of motherfuckers that's out here putting that type of energy into the world. You know, we just in a fucked up situation when, you know, snitches or rats or whatever. We got to hit reset on the world when snitches and rats is out here, even in the opportunity to, given the opportunity to take out someone of his stature and what he can, you know, brought to the community. You know what I mean? Let me see. Someone said, I seen the Vlad work too. What you mean by that? What you mean by that? You know, I don't know, you know, how everybody else been taking it, but I really couldn't. I seen a lot of, you know, BS going on surrounding, you know, of course, from the time when I did that first live stream when I thought he just was shot. And then people was coming in telling me basically in real time, like, no, that he passed away. You see, I cut that video short because, man, you know, my style, I ain't really the type of person to really just be kind of calling people out by name on all the fugazi bullshit a lot of people be doing, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and I ain't the type of person that wish death on another person. But it's just like you got all type of motherfuckers out here that's been inviting death into their energy for a long time. And that ain't even the type of time that Nipsey was on. You know, it just makes you really just sit down and look at yourself, look at your family, if you got kids, your loved ones, and really see how do you want to impact the world, your community, yourself, or just even if you're not even the type of person that want to try to leave a big legacy like that, like what are you going to do to make sure that your kids got something to cling on to 10, 15, 20 years from now, or the next generation to be proud of their father or their mother, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something I feel like, even if it's 5 to 10 hours of community service, some type of positive community service. Like I literally for real started looking up the information for a 501c3 the other day and was hollering at a couple different people because I was looking at the situation between, like, say for instance, between 8 or 9 years old, and y'all gotta excuse me, I'm driving, but between the ages of 8 or 9 years old to maybe up to like 25, and maybe trying to figure out some type of situation, you know. It's been a lot of talk about mental health in our community for a long period of time, and a lot of people for a long time shunned it. But then I wonder, do a lot of people even have access or the money to be able to go get therapy and stuff like that? So maybe that would be a nonprofit that people should look into to start up, you know what I mean, to have some funds allocated for people that's kids. Like maybe we can rewire some of these people that's growing up to be these type of haters that's so angry and enraged or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean, that's willing to not value another person's life and willing to take out another person. You know, I don't want to just focus on because it's a lot of shit that I just been hearing, you know, throughout this whole time. I watched a little bit of everybody's perspective towards it. You know, I've seen a lot of people, you know, be hypocritical with what they saying, towards this whole particular situation. I don't think that people should stop doing for their community just because this particular situation happened. But I definitely do think that at all times we always gotta be 2-3 steps ahead. You know what I mean? Like this it's the checkerboard and the chessboard the same board, but it's two totally different games. You know what I mean? Like we definitely got to be 2-3 steps ahead, even if you got to do something through another person. Maybe not make yourself as accessible. You know what I mean? But we got to not allow these situations, for whatever reason the universe chose to allow this to happen to Nipsey Hussle and other leaders and other individuals. Because I was talking to somebody about that the other day. I'm like, to me, I feel like the only reason why they constantly push Martin Luther King and Malcolm X on us as kids is because the psychological part of that, like, yeah, you constantly writing papers about them, but the main thing that's going to stick in your head is that they was doing something positive and they end up getting killed. So that's going to stick in your head. And I feel like that psychologically is what stopped a lot of people during that whole next generation from really wanting to step up and be in that position. And then you get this type of reminder again, it makes you really wonder about, how do you want to approach things? So I feel like, we got to always properly prepare, be prepared for anything, set up walls, set up different, situations where you can't get knocked down like that. What up to everybody in here? Tell me how y'all been feeling, man. I really just came to chop it up with y'all because I didn't really want to, like I said, from the time that video that I made and people was telling me that he ended up getting killed, like literally from that moment for like 2-3 days, my phone was constantly blasting. Either it was individuals from LA, some people that's out here in Detroit that used to live in LA for hella years. Some people, Crips that got connections out there. I was just hearing a little bit of everything. Like, even before, I just seen a video the other day with Big U talking about, this text message that was going around and all that stuff, that people were trying to implicate him. Like, literally, I heard about that before that even really came to the net. And I was like, this is not my place just because, it's the new news to come, just because it'll be a fresh headline for the views and all that stuff. I'm not about to put up 10, 20, 30. This is when situations like this, when you kind of just get the opportunity to see, like, I'm not here to milk a man's, death because he, his blood out there on the streets. That man got kids and all that stuff. I'd rather just come back and have a sincere, genuine conversation with you guys about how it affected you guys and just, what's the next step, how did it impact you guys and what you feel like, positively do you want to alter and change in your life, and the same thing vice versa. Nipsey Hussle not only had a plan, but he was on his mission daily. He was. Liddy, you got to break that down once, the MK Ultra, once you get to talking, saying that, I feel like, I don't know, especially from the different calls that I got, it's all right. I will say this. Who the fuck is funding? All right, if old boy was on the run for a couple of days and then he got arrested and then he go to court and then Chris, out of all the cards in the deck, the dude from the OJ, whatever, he ended up being this thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I heard that they said like he had private funding. So somebody is funding him to be, he not doing this like pro bono, or he just didn't get his name selected to be his attorney. So my thing is, people need to follow the money of, if people follow the money to find out where the money is coming from, if someone is privately paying for his defense through that particular guy, I think that'll answer more questions, if it's more questions that's needed to be answered other than that particular situation that we seen on camera. Because, yeah, we heard about the snitch stuff. I actually had heard, prior to that situation, that same day, that dude Shitty Cuz had been on some bullshit that day and had got into some other disputes that day in the hood, and a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Someone said it has made them more paranoid. Hey, and that's real. That's real for real. Like, that's real. And not to even really know that. See, this is the thing. Like, anybody follow me on IG scene, like, I didn't even post that video, and ain't no shade to anybody that did, but I didn't even post that video of seeing that. Because one, I like to talk about, like, real, if people out here got a half of I always say half of real life, and you done came from a certain type of background, where you have seen things firsthand or close enough. Like, anytime, I don't even like to absorb that energy, because it takes me into another space of other people that I have either seen get shot or personally know that it got killed, almost in that same manner of getting hit in the head. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even like to absorb that energy, because back in 08, 09, like, I didn't even notice it until after I stopped drinking, that I was really drinking, suppressing my depression, where I was like, I was an alcoholic. But when you were alcoholic and everybody you're around drinking, that's just the daily thing. You don't look at it in that manner, like, oh, you were alcoholic. This is just what happens. You don't see no different in your actions until after the fact, of when you turn around and look back at that state and period of time. And I just seen how my drinking habits even picked up more once somebody that I was close to end up getting shot twice in the head. So I definitely didn't want to see Nipsey, because that was the very first thing that it reminded me of. You know what I mean? But it was just, and to me, just, I was like, man, just for the amount of respect that I have for dude and his legacy and what he brought to the table, to me, it's like, that's damn near just lightweight embarrassing. I don't want that to be it's fucked up that I did catch a glimpse of that video, where now that's one of my last thoughts, you know what I'm saying, of seeing dude in that type of position, you know what I mean, with old boy doing that whole ass shit, you know what I mean? For real, Keon Johnson, rest in peace, Endo, for real, for real. So you know what I'm talking about. You must be from Sacramento. You realize Nipsey once showed love to Kodak. And yeah, that whole situation, like, I've been seeing different arguments and different things about even the Kodak Black situation. Some people defending it, some people not defending it. To me, I thought that would have been just something that was clear cut all across the board with anybody that waved a flag of you a quote unquote real nigga. But I also have to take into account that the word real is subjective to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. That word means something different. Some people think shooting somebody makes you a real nigga. Some people feel like handling your responsibility, take care of your family, and being a man, having integrity is a real nigga. Some people think finessing people and running off on the plug makes you a real nigga. So I have to always keep that in mind when I see different people that wave that flag of saying that they a real nigga, kind of even talk about that, like bro, yes, it's a common thing. Any man in this world, straight man, and probably gay men out here, probably think or know that Lauren London is fine. That's something that's already understood. But if the first thought that came across your mind when you heard that Nipsey Hussle got killed was, oh, now she's single, that tells me a lot about you, period. And whoever fuck with you needs to watch what type of nigga that thinks like that, period. And that's just my opinion. I don't care if people agree or disagree. If that's the first thought when a man got killed, is that the very first thought was, now, and see, this is the thing. I seen the first video that he first put up when he was talking about, okay, he was just up, Kodak Black was just about to go to the hood, and this situation happened, so maybe to stop him, I think I'm gonna go do more for my community, this and that. And then he started talking about Lauren Lynn, but then he stopped. But I seen him, he turned his face to the right, he had started smiling. I seen it then, but he stopped himself. So I was like, because I was just sitting back, I know how retarded old boy is, so I was like, where is he about to go with this? And then he stopped. So I didn't think nothing of it. You know what I mean? I kind of just got off the internet for a couple days, you know what I mean, due to that situation. Then when I got back on Instagram, I seen everybody going hard on him. I'm like, he must have doubled back and went ahead and said some shit about Lord London. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, it's understood that yes, she's fine. People know that. She know that. Everybody know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care, you know, if she got male relatives, people, her mama, everybody know that she's an attractive woman. But in that circumstance, like for real, taking your platform to say she got a year, she going whatever, that's just not the right time. But we gotta always take into account, especially when I'm talking about certain individuals. And I don't bash every person that's from this generation and younger generation, because I know some people that's of this generation that's young, they got their head on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? That's smart, that carry themselves with some integrity. You know what I mean? That got some game, that really got some game out here. You know what I mean? But you got a lot of individuals that don't have no game. You know, and I have to always keep in mind when I'm listening to different people, you know, not only what they've been through personally themselves, but is they really from some generational game? Is they from some shit that's where it's been going on since the 50s, 60s, 70s, this type of activity that Nip come from, that's been going on in LA for generations. You got a lot of people speaking on this culture that don't come from that type of environment or was not included or active in nothing that's been going on for generation after generation. So the information they giving is surface level because they really just learning it from the internet or what they see on TV. So it's like I seen a lot of different comments towards that particular situation with Kodak Black that really just was like, whoa, you know what I mean? I was, you know, I don't know. The debate could go anywhere it go when people talk about, you know, people could have reached out to him behind the scenes. You know, that's all subjective. If a person feel like, maybe people felt like, oh, he put that energy out there on the internet, so let me combat that same energy on that same platform to let people know. Because my thing is, if people get comfortable, everybody in here, remember how it was a trend for a hot little second where everybody was back to back dissing Tupac, especially around the time when Whack 100 was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Back to back dissing a dead individual. You know what I mean? Saying disrespectful stuff about Tupac. That enabled the trolls to be like, oh, so it ain't no repercussions behind this? Ain't nothing gonna happen behind me say this? The repercussion that I'm getting behind this is that my followers gonna go up, a whole bunch of blogs gonna talk about me, and I'm gonna get some attention, then I'm gonna drop a song and try to put out my mixtape. Then you had everybody and their mama doing it. So if people, no pun intended, but if people didn't nip that in the bud quick and get on his ass about that from the jump with Kodak Black, all you allowing to happen is for someone else to do it and another person to come out and do it. But I want to ask y'all, I don't know if he did yet or not. Let me read some of this. I want to ask y'all something. But has Blueface even showed any respect or posted or said anything about Nipsey? I seen some people getting on his ass about, like, why out of all people Blueface ain't posted and said nothing. Yeah, Nip Mama do have a special way of mourning, but that lets me know what type of spirituality and where they come from. Now, I do feel in my heart that it is, if she haven't had it at some point in time, that, you know, it's the inevitable for it to really hit you when you just get used to certain actions of being able to pick up the phone and talk to your kid or hug your kid and hear their voice and different things. But she do have his music. She probably have other memorabilia type things, you know what I mean? But, you know, my prayers definitely for her, and I'm glad that she turned around, because it's not about us at the end of the day, but she did put a message out there that could help other people during their mourning process, if we could see her be as strong as she was, you know, as she has been. You know, and if that's your opinion, you know, I don't argue, you know, with other people about their opinion. All I can say is, you know, anybody can be them. But anybody that was born with any motherfucking, I'm not even gonna say OGs, male figures, half a sense, some respect, integrity. These words that people really don't give a fuck about no more. That's categorized as just being him. Would do some sucker shit like that. You know what I mean? If a nigga mama get knocked down and then you see somebody before your mama even get put in the grave, someone trying to holler at, or whatever the case circumstance is, you like, man, come on. And my thing is, you got money, you you can get all the pussy in the world that you can get. Don't tell me niggas is this thirsty. Cause my thing is, it's niggas in real life. It's niggas in real life that's out here killing niggas over females. It's dudes out here killing niggas over females. It's niggas out here snitching and ratting on other niggas to try to get them off the street so they can try to get you. So much funk and shit going on in the hood right now. Not saying it's the female fault, but based around a female. So my thing is, I look at niggas that's like that a whole nother. You just let me know. Period. Not that I want the opportunity to or anything of that nature, but it just tells me a lot about that type of person. And if a person condones that type of behavior where you feel like it's cool, that's just cool, then hey, yeah, he could be him. Yes, that thought, everybody know Lauren London is fine. But it's a time and place for everything. But most men are taught that. A lot of men was not taught that. You know what I'm saying? And all I know is like 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, I seen some videos of Kodak Black just buying him a mansion or something out there. So my thing is, sometimes, you got to put your ego and pride aside and not allow just because other people did bark at him and this and that. Sometimes you got to put all that to the side. Now, you can handle that on your own time with them other people that, chose to jump in it that you feel like may not have nothing to do with nothing. But directly to that family, to his mom and everybody, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to check yourself and be able to look in the mirror and just say, you know what I'm saying, yeah, my bad, I wasn't thinking about it when I was doing it. You know what I mean? Let me see, little dude disrespectful, flat out. Yes, on the stories. I don't know if it was sincere. What when dude, and someone said, yeah, I seen when he said, and to me, that still was a slick, sly little way of just, he's still trying to just speak directly. Tomorrow, I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way when I say it's bigger than Lauren London, but coming at her that way, that it's bigger than just that. Yes, it was disrespectful to try to holler at a man that just got killed that haven't even put in the ground yet. She's going through her mourning process. You think she's thinking about any other nigga right now? And to say, for instance, even if she is, or if she that type of woman, you know what I'm saying? That if that was the case, then people would look at her sideways. But at the end of the day, it's like, you think if your man, someone that you have a child by, if she really, really, really loves Nipsey Hussle, you think that will be the person that would catch her attention? Not saying because of his looks, just his approach to the situation. If she's a real woman, that would make her kind of like, some people not even play her about it. And I'm not condoning her saying he should, but it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Nipsey Hussle death is very suspicious. Facts, it is. They may not be in the same set. Not, like quoting Big U, he said, like, if a person worked at the post office, they got fired, and then they came back and shot up the post office, would they still be considered a post office employee? Basically insinuating that, old boy was a 60, he was down. And my thing is, besides just what Big U said and what I've been basically been off the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been posting different, memorial and respectful things about Nip on my Instagram here and there. You seen I put up the last video that I put up, but I basically kind of been off the net with since the situation happened, for real, for real. But like I said, since the day that it happened, and down there 2, 3 days straight, my phone was straight blowing up from people down there, from out that way. Some dudes from the hundreds, some people that's connected to the 60s, a couple people from the 60s. So as stuff was coming out on the internet, and I'm saying this humbly, like it just is what it is. A lot of stuff that I had already heard. Just like I said, I had already heard about on the day that Nipsey passed away. I had already heard people was trying to implicate Big U, but then I just seen a video go up the other day where Big U addressed it. But that wasn't for me to run on the net and be like, oh, people, because you know what I'm saying, that type of shit can get a motherfucker killed. You know what I'm saying? You put that energy out there and spread and different type of stuff. You know what I mean? That's just like when when I posted the picture of Eric Holder, I had a person that's been rocking with me for a very long time, and they asked me like, bro, how do you 100%? And I'm telling him, I'm like, bro, this picture and everything was sent to me directly from people from that set, letting like, dog, they know it's dude. You know what I'm saying? Then a little while later, it was just like 100%, confirmed or whatever the case may be. He's like, my bad. I'm like, bro, I'm not the type of person. I don't like having to double back and be like, my bad, y'all. I didn't, do my due diligence and really check into something. And then, like, you don't want to put the snitch jacket on somebody. You don't want to put the molester jacket on nobody. You don't want to put that you murdered someone jacket on somebody. So in these situations, it's so sensitive. You don't just need to, for me, the way I look at it, jump on all that stuff. You know what I mean? Let things play out and let's see what happens. You know what I mean? Someone said I lost my mom in it and it was hard pill to swallow. My condolences. You dark skinned dude, Drake. You feel like? See, I don't know. I maybe, and like I said, I'm not here to debate how other people view things because by the time I got to the age that I am, I understand that everybody is different. Some people agree, are like-minded. Some people are not like-minded. It's based off of their experience, how they look at things, how they was raised, and not to say that's a good or a bad thing or in a disrespectful manner. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like saying just because niggas in Detroit kill niggas over Cartiers, when someone do it, man, that's just how them niggas are. That give niggas a pass. No, like, come on, man. We give motherfuckers so many passes, then we wonder why shit is getting more and more fucked up out here because niggas is more quick to give niggas passes. I don't know if it's a regional thing. I don't know what it is, but sucker shit is sucker shit. An orange is an orange. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta call a spade, and that's a problem. That's the whole thing. That's the reason why, you know what I mean? Like, literally, and I'm not even condoning on the street shit, but if shit was the way it was back in the day, you violate that way and your name and your car get put on some paperwork, people got to understand when you do certain actions, not only you putting yourself in danger, you putting your family and your loved ones in danger. And at one point in time, that used to be something that damn near get you a pumpkin head in certain people's sets if you was a snitch or you violated certain codes, which would stop if that person, not condoning the saying, but I'm just saying if on that side of the fence, on the street shit, if certain principles from back then was implemented now, see, it's more incentives nowadays to snitch than it is repercussions. I'm talking about the police is giving niggas, giving niggas all type of incentives. You know what I mean? They giving niggas a percentage points on snitching. You know what I mean? You down there getting the snitches down there like managers out here. You know what I'm saying? They get 10% off of everything they arresting and bringing in. You know what I'm saying? So it's way more incentives for niggas to snitch than actual repercussions. It's not enough incentives out here for people to keep it real, because when you keep it real with people out here, at some point in time you gonna get fucked over. But that's why I say people gotta understand that everybody definition of real, it's not a flat rule of just what's real. Everybody look at what's real to them different than other people based on their upbringing, what they've been through, and how they internalize and look at life through their lens. BA, I appreciate that, man. Salute. But but to each his own on how they feel about it. Like I say, I'm not here to bark on nobody because they have their opinions about stuff. If that's how they feel about it, if they feel, you know, it's all good, give Kodak Black just because. That's just like the same thing people were saying about Tekashi 6ix9ine. They kept calling this nigga a kid like he not a grown-ass man with bills and responsibilities and a kid and his own child out here. Just half the shit that he was saying about other people, he fell in the same category as being a man. I don't know, my thing, shit. Once I was 18, 17, 18 years old, I was already, yeah, of course I made dumb decisions and shit like that. I wasn't mentally where I was at that particular age where I'm at now, you know what I mean? But I damn sure at 22, 23 years old, motherfuckers wasn't sitting around calling me still a kid. It's like people always want to give people, and that's a problem. Men got to be held not, to a higher standard if you want to be considered a man. You know what I mean? Underground West, salute. Big Ock, what up though? What's good? Chris Chip, I see you. Yeah, I'm not in the on the market to really grab up no more yays or nothing like that right now. You know what I'm saying? Cause I got another pair that I need to go ahead and get back out here. You know what I mean? I got to get, because I wear prescription. You know what I'm saying? I don't wear these just to wear them, like they actually prescription in them. I done got these lenses changed out like 2-3 times before having transition in them. Then I had just, but you know what I mean? It's about Nipsey, so I ain't about to get into all that right now. One thing I remember, I'm reading some people's comments, you know what I'm saying? One thing I remember Nip's mom saying is that he didn't die. It just began a spiritual life. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm good. Wow, hold on. Let's say while Vlad posted a shooting after Nipsey's, hold on, let's say drive and 1 killed, 3 injured. Yeah. I talking about, I heard a couple people after that particular situation. I had seen a video of a dude that was on the ground out there that had said like 2 or 3, alleged drive-bys that happened after that. You know what I'm saying? Like people really, you know what I mean? Like when you knock off the head, you know what I'm saying, like that, yeah, that's gonna affect people. Plus out of not even just on the business tip, you know what I'm saying? Just out of pure love for this person that you probably grew up from the sandbox with. That's why I say it's a difference between, now if I'm speaking, I have to give a disclaimer. When I'm speaking on the street side of shit, like you can't mix rational civilian thinking with street situations and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, if you in that world and that's what you want, like, shit, I would hope if a motherfucker knock me down that my people ride for me. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, anytime I done seen people get knocked down and they people don't do shit, all of them as slowly become victims. All of them start getting slowly get robbed and all that stuff. Like, sometimes you got to stand up for what you believe in, especially when you in that game. But on a civilian tip, then then if I'm speaking strictly from a civilian tip, yes, we should. I don't want to condone the violence and perpetuate it and want it to keep going on. But that's why people have to make a solid decision what world they want to be in. People be wanting to have 2 toes in the motherfucking streets, but then still want to think as if they motherfucking Malcolm X and shit. Like you gotta pick and choose, because one world gonna outweigh the other. At some point in time, one world gonna outweigh the other and gonna put you in a compromising position where you're gonna have to pick and choose what world you want to be in. And that was something that we was talking about the other day, that the lines then got so blurred where at some point in time, the underground, the street world, and the civilian world, because of how the rules and regulations and stuff was set up, those two worlds that really blend during that era when you had no women, no children. But now women get shot, kids get shot. You find the kids getting put in trunks, all type of stuff. People are purposely targeting women and their kids because they can't get to them. The game then got so much into savage mode where we respect shit like Run Off on the Plug. We respect, and that ain't just towards Plies. I'm talking about, I've heard tons of rappers from the Midwest, all type of shit from other areas talking about setting up and robbing they plug and all this shit, and people chanting that shit and like it's cool. You know what I mean? That basically no one can trust you. Niggas is, you know what I mean? The game that got so fucked up. You talking called the managers? Yeah, I'm talking about they getting 10%, man. Say not depending on who you snitch on will be made an example of. Some dude tried to snitch in the BX a while, and he got lit up going to the courtroom with 2 police escorts broad day. Tekashi is a grown rat. Someone said, I don't use the word MF during slavery. They blinded the son to sleep with his daughter. Say Kodak gonna be all right. He just needs discipline. That's what's supposed to happen when he was a child growing up. And that's just my opinion. It's like these statements are treating him as if he's 6, 7, 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? We talking about a grown ass man that's rich, that got responsibilities. He got mortgages. He got invoices. He got, you know what I'm saying? He a grown ass man. talking about it as if like dude is a child, where someone is still taking care of him, still teaching him right from wrong. It's you know, every day should be a learning experience, but by the time that you get to a certain age, especially if you represent that. But that's, like I say, that's just me, you know what I mean? And I can't expect for everybody to view, especially when I see certain people representing a certain image, I automatically assume that they come like this certain package bundle deal where they come with a set of morals and principles and understand how certain shit work and how certain shit has repercussions, certain shit, you know, is honorable, and, you know, and vice versa. But I can't expect that, you know what I'm saying? I can't expect that, and it's not, you know, it's not that my opinion make or break the judgment of whatever the case may be of how motherfuckers out here running around. It's just my opinion on how I look at how things is slowly but surely growing. C. Harris, what up though? Elvis Freshly, for real, I appreciate that, man. 11, you know, 116 people in here. You know, I don't know what it is. I try not, you know, I don't speak, I don't really say too much about it. I do sit back. I be wondering the same thing. I don't be knowing if people be manipulating, because there be a lot of manipulation going on by a lot of other people who manipulate people that feel like, oh, they only can rock with this channel, that channel, this and that, blah, blah, blah. If I support something, I rock with it, or whatever the case may be. I do what I can do to support it. You know, hit like, leave comments, share this and that. But I don't be like to be the type of person that, you know, beg people when you think, I don't know, it just be weird. I don't know. Maybe a lot of motherfuckers, I don't, it should be weird. I don't even want to talk about it, man, because it is at some point in time. Like I'm gonna wait a couple more weeks to really just sit back and see how this one shit that's supposed to be going on, how it work out. And if it don't, it's gonna be something that I'm gonna end up addressing, because I'm just trying to, I don't want to even put it out there yet. How I feel about Messy Marv. Oh man. Man, to wrap that up in the bundle, it seemed like, you know, maybe, I don't know if he'd have fell victim to the game. I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't know, like, did Mozzie and them take his chain back? I don't know, man. It's a sad situation to see a person, especially when I got up on them, they, you know, legendary status, putting out quality music, even though it was controversial and a lot of stuff was going on then, to see that point to now, you know what I mean? It's just a sad situation, you know what I mean? Because anything can happen. You know, I'm seeing different people, you know, running up on him, fighting him, this and that, saying he in Tent City. But, you know, a lot of stuff has to do just in general, not just Messy Mar, but a lot of stuff has to do with the energy that you put out into this world. At some point in time, I feel like before the major call come for some people, when I say that, as far as being called home to whoever your higher power is, sometimes your higher power will totally slow you all the way down to try to get you to see what he wants you to see, you know. And then once you go through that period of time, if you don't see the messages, you know what I mean, that he's trying to give to you, then the inevitable can happen. So I don't know, you know, it's a sad situation. All I know, a few weeks back, he had texted me and was, you know, hit me up on IG, because I hadn't heard from him since the I'm outside challenge. You know what I mean? We were supposed to do an interview then. Dude, he, you know, normally come around, dip off, come around, dip off. You know, I'm not trying to like be best friends with, you know, with people. I got my own life and all that stuff going on. You know, you have a rapport with different people where you may periodically chop it up. You know what I mean? People may check on you, vice versa, your kids, this and that with some people. But just out the blue, you know, hit me up on IG and was like, hey, what's your new number? Because I had just changed my number. And I gave him my number. He text me like, yeah, that's my number. And then, you know, that really was about it. Then I just started seeing the videos of him like that, you know. So I don't know, man. I hope instead of doing anything further to him, because I feel like where he's at right now, if anybody had real genuine hate for a person, him and all that stuff, I feel like where he's at right now, and I'm not saying that like I agree with it, but I feel like for that person, this should be satisfying enough to go ahead and back up off of him, and, you know, and hopefully he can bounce back and get back on his feet, man. Yeah. People do need to in general, pray for him, pray for everybody. Hopefully the decisions that he make from this point on is better towards his health, towards his well-being, towards his career. You know what I mean? I don't know if he has kids or not, you know what I mean? Hopefully his decision making can be more clear. But that's why it's very important in life that your brain and your mind can't be clouded all the time. I understand it can become a habit, and I understand that it can become a thing where you can, it just become a ritual. Wake up, you got half a blunt in the ashtray from the last night, and not even because weed in a lot of states, is legalized. Weed ain't looked at like the same thing. But I'm just saying, at some point in time, you got to have a clear mind to be able to really sit down and map out what's going on in your life. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to look in the mirror at yourself and not point the fingers at everybody else for maybe what's wrong and what's going on in your life. Sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be like, hey, these are the things that I'm contributing to, the negatives in my life. And these are the things that I need to change up. The Southside Player, if you've been listening to anything, I don't know, maybe you only see things from surface level, but the conversation tonight been way more than just about entertainment and sports. It's been about real life. Because at the end of the fucking day, you live in a real life, and depending on where your environment and all that stuff, people got to learn from other people mistakes. You know what I mean? I'm not no preacher at all. You know what I mean? And my thing is, I can email you or inbox you um CNN's YouTube channel or other YouTube channels where you could possibly go instead of coming to a hip hop based platform. That's like me going to fucking Walt Disney fucking channel and say, damn, y'all ain't putting up no hockey over here. Like, what the fuck? Oh, okay, for sure, for sure. Southside Player. But yeah, man, I hope the best for everybody. I hope this situation, unfortunately, it takes negative situations to wake up a lot of people. That's how a lot of individuals learn. So even myself, sometimes you want to learn from other people's mistakes, but we also gotta not only allow negative situations to inspire us to be better people, allow positive things as well, and I'm just hoping, like I said earlier today, bringing up the 501c3 about, really looking into the process of trying to open up a nonprofit organization, allocate money to try to have funding for kids between a certain age and a certain age bracket to be able to go get therapy. Because to me personally, I feel like being a hater and envious and a person out here that would just kill you for those reasons and all that type of stuff, you need some mental help. And apparently you don't have the proper parents, OGs, uncles, or someone around you to really walk you through this life, because life is not easy. Everybody gonna be put through tests. You know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be someone doing better than what you doing. You know what I mean? But I'm just not wired that way to, be envious or jealous of another individual because they're doing better. I rather use it as motivation or look at what are they actually doing to be in the position that they in, and what am I doing wrong to not be in that position, and try to master my strengths and work on my weaknesses. But some people don't see no weaknesses in themselves, and that's the reason why they allow themselves to become stagnant. Rat Zinger, what up though? Was good. Yeah, Mechadon, for real. And that's since day one. That's been the reason, and for this particular channel and trying to build this community of. I already know covering certain type of topics is gonna bring in certain type of people. You know what I mean? And at some point in time, and more often than none, that will end up coming. When the podcast and all that stuff happen, and more live things like that to interact with the people that's here to support and show love and to hear y'all thoughts on how y'all view things is to have these type of conversations. You know what I mean? My thing is at the end of the day, grown people can agree to disagree with respect, you know, and a lot of times in conversation, it's a two-way street. Just unfortunately it's a way it's it's set up like this where I have to, read the comments and it's just y'all hearing my voice. But at the same time, I do take into consideration when I see different things that make sense to me, you know. Titus Foster, you say you didn't heard people say that Nipsey then faked his death. You got to keep in mind, like somebody, I don't be liking even get, what I mean, that yeah, just throughout that whole, I done seen certain people put up 20, 30, 50, 40 damn videos about the Nipsey Hussle shit in days. You know what I mean? Just hella milk in the situation. But I'm not here to be the blogger godfather, blogger, police to tell people what to do and not to do. Because I always genuinely feel like at some point in time, if people don't have genuine intentions behind what they doing, that eventually, because I'm a viewer myself, I view other people's channels, I view my work and all that stuff. You viewers will eventually um, catch on to what people intentions are. And that's what's going to either make or break people. You know what I mean? If they're going to really have longevity and be able to grow and build a stable foundation. If your intentions is not pure, it's just all for the dollar and that's it. It don't matter if a man is laid out in the middle of the street bleeding to death and the very first thing that come to your mind is a dollar sign off that person dead in the street. You know what I'm saying? Eventually that karma will eventually come and destroy everything that's being built behind that type of greed. Chris Cali 510 stagnant. Hell yeah, Doc. Mac Rule, appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Salute to dark skinned Drake. Keon Johnson, I would say as of right now, DocHicksTvInfo at yahoo.com is the best way to try to, what I mean, so I could see, see what's going on. But yeah, it's been a ton of stuff, and I tried not to I try to stick to the places that I feel like are reputable sources and not click on too much BS. Like I seen the girl Cop Pistol Cree get mad at the dude Wally the Great, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't even know, I can't remember what happened, but she ended up putting out his address and all type of stuff to where he rests his head at. Because he put out, I guess, something around the Nipsey stuff that was like hella foul or implementing somebody. I don't know, but that's what he doing. But I still, people still give him hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, I don't get it, but I can't knock, what he got going on. I can only just wonder what type of people are entertained by that and really support that. But, you know, say he's pro black and doesn't want the unity to move the power forward. Salute my G. Wally is 100% fake news. Yeah. But yeah, this going on, 53 minutes about to touch, what I'm saying, a full hour, man. But I greatly appreciate everybody that tapped in tonight. Like I said, you know, since the day it happened, I literally probably have recorded a video every day about the Nipsey situation, but just didn't put it out because it's like I really couldn't even like really record a full thing, like just being speechless, not knowing what to say, not knowing how to approach a situation, not wanting to just dig into 100% of the street politics and business. I felt like this type of situation too sensitive, and then with the respect level for Nipsey and all that stuff, it was like I need to just really let this play out and let whatever end up coming out. But it just, I was like, let me just do a live stream and chop it up with you guys this way to see how everybody else feeling about it. Cause I sincerely, I don't want this to be no situation where In the next few days, the hashtags gonna slow down. The pictures gonna slow down. I know people eventually at some point in time gonna go back to their, regular life and all that stuff like that. But I just hope that is some way, somehow, that people keep his name, his legacy, and what he stood for attached to his name alive and in people's face somehow. It shouldn't be to the point where a week or a month go by where it's not something or someone that's within the hip hop game or has a platform somehow, some way remind you of Nipsey Hussle, even if it's just a periodic put up on the screen, rest in peace Nipsey Hussle, or doing something just to make sure his legacy, just continues. Because the more people um, that even if they wasn't fans, the more people that's finding out about him and all that stuff, that give them the opportunity to go check out his music and his work and everything that he was doing in the hood. And I feel like if you don't get inspired by what he brought to the table, then you just 100% wired crazy. Looking for the truth behind it. Hey, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. The internet. I'm gonna read a couple more of these. The internet generation of the squares and the white kids entertain Wally the Great. He needs to be overlooked by the real. Next week will be another distracting for the sheep. Yeah, I think you should just chill until we see what happens with the case. I feel like it's going to get ugly. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's true. I really want to see where the money coming at to fund Chris. What's his name? Chris Harden, or whatever his name is. That attorney. I really want to see somehow, some way that information comes out, and I feel like that will answer a lot of other things that may blow people's minds. I feel like if that information come out to see who even in their right mind, if he's not pro bono and the cars didn't just fall that way, where he just, and because even, people say, oh, he took the case, because he wants to get his name out there. That's still, but he a lawyer. That's the judicial system. He want to do whatever because he, in his mind, he feel like, oh, if I could take someone that everybody knows is a killer and beat him, then everybody gonna hit me up. That's his own personal karma and energy that he gonna have to deal with later on in life. You know what I'm saying? But he's technically doing his job. But from what I heard, it's a private funder behind him, paying for him as an attorney. And that's something I definitely would want to find out who is that. You know what I mean? So, but keep me updated. And we'll chop it back up and back and forth about it. I'm not about to just be making tons of videos about it. I got too much respect for Nipsey and his legacy. You know what I mean? To be doing that. You know what I mean? So much love to everybody, man. Stay safe out here. Keep your antennas up, and let's all try to figure out something. Definitely, this year just started, but this year gonna go by fast. But let's try to figure something out as a community before the end of the year. What's something that possibly we could put together and really push forward of something that's a positive seed to put into the community, even if it's me really trying to build this nonprofit organization that people want to get down with that or something like that. It's DocHicksTvInfo at yahoo.com. If you got information about nonprofits or whatever the case may be, holler at me if you want to get down with it, if you want to help push the movement, or whatever the case. Hit me up and let's see what we could put together and do something on the podcast.